Hello and welcome back. In the last video, we created the docker compose.yaml file and added our first service, which is the Redis service. And we set up the container name, the image name, the restart policy, the port, just a command, and then the volumes where we want the data that are generated and are sent to Redis to be stored on our local machine. Okay, so I'm setting it to this same folder path. So a folder called docker volumes will be created, cache, and then it will map to this /data. Now the next data or service we want to create is MongoDB. So let me go to Docker Hub and search for MongoDB. Okay, so we are going to use the official image. Okay, and then here we can check the tags. Yeah, so these are the tags that are available: MongoDB 5, MongoDB 7. Okay, and then you can scroll down to see what you can do. If you want to run it without using Docker Compose, you can do that. If you want to connect, if you want to use Docker Compose, okay, now they already gave us a sample on how to do that. So we create a service called Mongo, or Mongo, whatever you want to call the service name, the image, the restart policy, and then we set the environment. So if you want to set the root username, the password, we are going to set that. Let's see if we have other properties we can add. So there are other environment variables: init root username, init root password, init database. Okay, so these are some other environment variables we can set. Okay, so now let's set up this. I can call this MongoDB underscore container, whatever name you want to call the container. Okay, it's fine. And then, whatever you want to call the service, this is the service name. Okay, this is the service name. And then let's create the container name. So the container name will be MongoDB underscore container. Okay, so if we want to access this, we can use the MongoDB container. It's fine. Okay, and then the image is going to be Mongo : we can use the latest flag. So let's see the tag right here. So the latest will likely pick this one right here, or you can use specific versions. Okay, any version that you want you can pick, but for the latest is fine for our local developments. Okay, it's okay, we can use this. And then restart, I'll set this to always. And now for this, we saw already here that we can add environment variables, set up the initial root username, initial root password. I think this is optional. We can run MongoDB without the initial username and initial password. Okay, we can leave that out because we are developing locally. But if you want to take it to the cloud, maybe you want to use a managed service, you want to manage the service yourself on Kubernetes, then you definitely have to set up passwords, okay, username and passwords for your database. Okay, but for local development, it's fine. We can do without the environment variables. But if we try it, because I tried it without the environment variables, it worked. Probably with a different version. So I've not tried with the latest version. Maybe something has changed, but if it doesn't work, then we are going to set a username and password. But I think it should work for us. The next thing is set ports. Now MongoDB ports, let's check if we can find it here. I think MongoDB port is usually, yeah, you can see 27017. So this is the port number for MongoDB. Okay, so port number within the container and port number where we're mapping outside the container. Okay, so this is the port within and this is port outside. Okay, and then the last thing is we need to map the volume, okay, where we want the data to be stored on our local machine. Now MongoDB data, I think it usually is /data. Let me see if I can find it here. I think it's usually /data/db, something like that. Just one moment, let me look for it, where how it usually stores its data or creates its volume. Yes, okay, you can see, yeah, MongoDB volumes are usually mapped to /data/db, okay? So we are going to map our own local volume to the MongoDB data parts right here. So this is it. This is what we need to map our own volume to. So volumes. So I will use the same path, ./docker/volumes. So I just want one folder. Then /data : what is the path? /data/db. Copy that and then paste it here. Okay, so this will be created on our local machine. Okay, and then this is what we are mapping that data to. So it's like a one-to-one mapping. So what we are saying here is whatever is contained in this /data/db, we want to add it to this part, Docker volumes /data. This could be anything, okay? It's fine. So, but we are just mapping it /data, then we map it to this part. So we stop here. In the next video, we'll add the services for MySQL and possibly for Postgres.